let's talk to some of the young people here in Newtown. They're all from the Newtown area. We've got Tyler, Sarah and Jason. Barack Obama says America needs to look at its gun laws. Do you think there should be more gun control?
Personally, I don't believe this is a gun control issue. Yes, the guns were readily available. That could be an issue. Them not being locked up at the house, him having access to them. But mainly, I don't think this is a gun law issue. I mean, we look at what happened the other day. I mean, guns aren't allowed on school grounds, yet they were brought there. If you make more gun laws, they're just going to be broken. So making more laws to be broken just seems like we're running in circles.
And Tyler, you keep guns at home. Your family have a number of weapons, don't they?
Yep. Since I was 5 years old, I've been taught how to properly use a gun, take care of it, treat every gun like it's loaded. And I mean, it's something we're allowed to have. This country provides, it says the Second Amendment.
And how would you feel if the government turned around and said, OK, you've got to hand the guns over, there's a gun amnesty, things are going to change?
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't take that very well. I mean, it's the Second Amendment, the Constitution. You can't just change that. I mean, it's a right we all have and we deserve to have it. I think sometimes it's just taken advantage of.
And Sarah, what's your view? Because you were down here this morning laying flowers. You've seen the havoc that weapons can wreak. Do you think America should be changing its gun laws?
Well, I completely agree with him. It wasn't the fact that he went out and bought a gun. He couldn't get to a gun, so he went out and took his mother's. So making another law won't change that. He was a criminal, and that's exactly, like, he went out and hurt people. And yeah, it's not going to make a difference. So
in the UK, very few people have guns at home, something like 6 out of 100 people in the population, whereas in the US it's something like 89. Tell us a bit about the culture. You know, you're from Newtown. Why do people feel that they need a gun for entertainment?
Well, around here we have like a lot of people who hunt, and I don't personally hunt, so I don't know much about guns, but I feel that some people it's just something around here that we can always do, and there's always places we can go, and there's always shooting ranges. And a lot of people around here don't just, like, we can't go into the woods and just shoot something. We have to go someplace, and we have to have a license, and yeah, so.
And Jason, moving along to you, do you think the problem is with the guns or with the young people? Problems, the President talked about the issues of mental health, more needs to be done. What's your view?
I feel as though it is an issue of mental health. You know, this man, there's obviously something wrong with him. And I feel as though if he took a deeper look into who he was and, you know, what was actually wrong with him, you know, maybe he could have seen someone to help him out with his problems. And, you know, I feel as though this wouldn't have happened. I mean, this is a travesty.
And what about the kinds of influences which young people across the world have? Violent movies and other kinds of games. Do you think that is impacting on the young generation?
I feel to a certain extent that it impacts them, you know, the violent video games and the movies. But it really doesn't deter who they are. You know, they still have morals and they still live their lives, you know, thinking what's right and what's wrong. And, you know, people like this man, you know, they just didn't have, you know, a good grasp of what was right and wrong.
President Obama says more needs to be done to protect America's children, to protect, you know, young people like yourself. So do you think that the gun laws need to be tightened up?
I feel as though the gun laws, you know, they're good as they are. If we just blame them, you know, that's just picking another fight within our country, and we really don't need to focus on what needs to be, you know, altered that shouldn't be altered. We should be focusing on, you know, what's happened here, and we shouldn't, you know, try and change something that shouldn't be changed.
But of course, there are so many varied views across the United States, and a lot of people are saying America is at a tipping point. It's a big issue in the States, isn't it?
Oh, it's a huge issue, yeah. I mean, there's half of us say that we should, you know, tighten up the gun laws, and the other half say they're fine as they are. And, you know, I feel as though I think they're fine. You know, he had to go around the system, you know, to try and get the weapon that he used.
And does all of this not change your view? You know, you came down here this morning, you're laying flowers. You can see the absolute havoc that it's wreaked. 2 little 6-year-old boys, Jack and Noah, their funerals are this afternoon, almost as we speak, and others will take place throughout the course of the week. Does all of this not change your view?
You know, all this, it's very sad. You know, it's heartbreaking, really. I feel as though that we shouldn't be looking at their deaths as a way to, you know, fight each other, you know, to fight for more gun laws. I still believe, and I still strongly believe, that we're fine as we are with our gun laws.
Okay, Jason, Sarah, Tyler, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.